Welcome gamers, Hazardor here, and today I'm going to be reviewing Far Cry Primal. I've put a lot of hours into this game, and I think I can give you an honest opinion of how good it is. Starting with the environment, Ubisoft have done a very good job of creating a primal setting. Everything in this game makes it feel like you are in fact a caveman, from the weapons, to the wildlife, to the environment itself, to the characters in the game. Nothing's sort of in there that makes it feel really modern and really out of place. So I really do have to congratulate the developers for making a very good setting that makes you feel like you're really far in the past. Very different from other Far Cry games, so you've really got to credit them for trying out something different, going for a different setting, and it was quite an ambitious game, isn't it? All the Far Cry games are completely different from this, and Far Cry Primal, it's tried something new, and I really like that they haven't went with the same safe option. They've took a risk with Far Cry Primal, but this risk doesn't entirely pay off, and although the environment is good, it really isn't for me. If you compare RPGing an elephant to killing a mammoth with an arrow, it really doesn't compare. Far Cry Primal is not as fun as other Far Cry games in my opinion. You're with boring weapons and you're sort of in the past. Okay, it does fit the setting, spears and arrows and that sort of thing, but as I've said, killing people with guns is more fun than killing people with rocks and sticks. That's my personal opinion anyway. You guys may feel different, but it's just not as fun and doesn't feel like a Far Cry game. Now in this setting there's a lot of wildlife, and in my opinion this is the best thing about Far Cry Primal is the wildlife. You have birds, you have tigers, you have mammoths, you have monkeys, you have wolves, you have birds, you have fish, you have crocodiles. There's loads of these different animals which you can hunt, which you can tame, you can kill, you can skin them. There's so many things you can do with these animals, and the wildlife actually possess a more threat to you than normal enemies. Now you sort of have a hub in this game. It's sort of a massive village where you can upgrade your huts, and then they allow you to unlock more stuff. This is a sort of good system of debating, what am I going to use my resources for? Upgrading the things I've got or unlocking more possible upgrades? And the upgrading system, and in fact the skill tree system, is very good. It's quite detailed, there's a lot of things to upgrade, and every time I've got a skill point I find myself thinking or having a good think of what I'm going to spend my skill points on. And that in my opinion is how a good skill point tree is done. You really do have to think about what you level up and what sort of character build you're going for. Now although the wildlife is very good and it's the best thing about the game, the AI is really stupid and the gameplay is bloody boring as well. Even though the AI detect you, sometimes they don't even know where you are after you've ran away for a few minutes, and sometimes they are so stupid it's actually funny. They don't know where you are even though you're sitting a few meters away from them, staring right at them. As I said, the gameplay is really boring as well. All it is mashing one button, hitting people again and again with a spear or an arrow until they die. There's no dodging, there's no blocking, there's no sort of skill involved. It's just running up to people, hitting them, going away and healing. Okay, I admit it, killing people with a headshot with an arrow is quite satisfying, but that's the only sort of gameplay that I actually enjoyed, is playing stealthy and going for outposts. Outposts are one of the best things about the game, this and wildlife. When you take out an outpost really stealthily and they don't detect you, that's a very good feeling. But I think there's 16 outposts in the game and it's just the same thing again and again. Okay, it's a different base, there's different buildings, the enemies are situated in different places, but it just feels like rinse and repeat. And the missions in general are just rinse and repeat again and again. Kill this, find this animal, kill this guy, capture this objective, find this collectible. It's the same thing again and again, and I felt like I was just doing the same thing all the time, which leads to boring gameplay. And you know me, graphics can be good, story can be good, but gameplay is the core to a game, and if the gameplay's not good, the game's not really good. And in my opinion, the Far Cry gameplay is boring and repetitive. The graphics aren't too amazing, but they're solid. You'll see in the gameplay now, they're good. Obviously it's a next gen game, but it's nothing that's sort of gonna open your eyes or make you say wow. Now even though the gameplay is repetitive, you could say, well, if the game has a strong story, it's a good game overall. I can sacrifice a bit of a boring gameplay if there's a strong story to it, there's some strong characters, but there really is nothing there. I don't even remember any of the characters' names, and I'm about 10 hours into the game. They're just not memorable at all, and the fact that they don't speak English is a bad thing. Okay, it does fit into the setting as well. They sort of speak a primitive language, but I have to constantly follow the sort of subtitles all the time, and I get lost in the story quite a lot. Since they don't speak English or a language that I recognize, I don't feel emotionally connected to these characters at all, and even though these characters have their own problems, issues, and this sort of stuff, I really don't care about any of them. They don't give me any backstory or any sort of storyline at all for me to care about these characters, and I love a good story in a game, and Far Cry doesn't have that. There's no story to this game at all really. It's just sort of two tribes going at each other. You know, you gotta recruit people for your tribe, you gotta kill other people's tribes, and he's sort of trying to build up your village and take out the other tribe basically. It's sort of this boring thing again and again, just like the gameplay. Boring, boring, boring. Definitely not my type of game. There's not even a villain in this game either, as you've known in the Far Cry games with people like Vars and Pagan Min. Okay, Pagan Min was nowhere near as good as Vars, but at least they gave it a try. They built a new villain, sort of made him crazy. He was a good villain, but they at least tried. It's good to see a game try to sort of repeat the same thing, repeat the successes of the previous games, and Far Cry Primal just did not do that. There isn't even a main villain to this game. game, not an interesting one anyway, so that's a negative point as well. Far Cry Primal has no story, the gameplay's boring, and it's just rinse and repeat over and over again. However, there are good graphics, the wildlife add a lot of depth to the game, and it's not a bad game, it's solid. If you like buying new games, trying out something new, go out and buy Far Cry Primal and see for yourself. If you don't like wasting your money, keep it in your wallet. I'd give this game a 6 out of 10. But anyway guys, thank you for watching, like, comment and subscribe for more.